Every architect knows the moment. You've completed the design, months of collaboration, iteration, and refinement. And then you hit submit on the permit application. One document discrepancy, and 2 months evaporate. A single disputed code interpretation, and the entire design gets sent back to the drawing board. In many markets, average building permit processing times stretch well beyond 100 days, more than double the OECD average. South Korea, for instance, averages 127 days per permit, a figure that illustrates a challenge shared by built environment professionals around the world. Approval systems simply have not kept pace with modern design practice. But that formula is now breaking down. As BIM and AI converge, permit automation is shifting from a futuristic concept to an operational reality. Today, we dig into exactly what this transformation means for architecture and design professionals everywhere. To understand the solution, we need to diagnose the problem at its roots. Building permit processes worldwide share 3 fundamental bottlenecks. First, document-to-drawing mismatches. Architectural drawings, structural calculations, fire safety plans, and energy compliance reports are typically prepared in separate workflows, leaving reviewers to manually cross-check everything for consistency. A single discrepancy triggers a full correction cycle. Second, regulatory ambiguity. Building codes, zoning ordinances, fire regulations, and energy efficiency standards frequently overlap or conflict. When they do, interpretation falls to individual reviewers, introducing variability and unpredictability into every submission. Third, iterative revision cycles. From first submission to final approval, the average project undergoes multiple rounds of corrections. On complex projects, a process that should take weeks can stretch to a year or more. These bottlenecks don't just create frustration, they generate real financial damage. Financing charges accumulate, project teams sit idle, and client confidence erodes. This is a structural problem, and it demands a structural solution. The foundation of the solution is BIM, Building Information Modeling. But BIM is far more than a 3D drafting tool. It is a digital twin, a single, integrated data model containing every dimension, material specification, structural load, window detail, and energy property of the building, all in one place. What makes this transformative for permitting is that this data is machine-readable. Through the IFC Open Standard, an international format recognized across software platforms and government review systems, a BIM model can be directly interpreted by automated compliance engines without any manual data re-entry. The results from early adopters are striking and consistent. Singapore introduced BIM-based electronic permitting in 2015, becoming one of the world's first countries to mandate digital permit submission. Following that rollout, permit processing times fell by approximately 67%. After the United Kingdom mandated BIM on public projects, permit rejection rates, caused by design errors, declined by approximately 41%. The pattern holds globally. BIM doesn't just improve design quality, it creates the machine-readable foundation that AI requires to perform automated code review. BIM is the prerequisite for permit automation. Now for the core of it, how does AI actually automate building code review in practice? The leading platforms worldwide share 3 common mechanisms that work together as a pipeline. First, rule-based compliance engines. Building code provisions are encoded as logical rules, then automatically matched against BIM model geometry and data in real time. A requirement such as minimum egress corridor width of 1.2 meters gets measured directly from the model. Any violation is instantly flagged with location, element, ID, and severity. No manual checking required. Second, machine learning prediction. Systems trained on thousands of historical permit submissions learn to recognize which design patterns consistently trigger correction requests from reviewers. These patterns are surfaced as pre-submission warnings, giving the design team an opportunity to resolve issues before they ever reach a reviewer's desk. Third, NLP-driven document generation. Based on the structured data in the BIM model, AI tools automatically draft compliance reports, area calculation summaries, and environmental analysis statements. Documentation that previously took days is produced in minutes. Together, these three layers allow a design team to resolve the vast majority of code issues before submission. Leading AI drawing error detection platforms report an overall detection accuracy of approximately 94%, making pre-submission AI review genuinely reliable in professional workflows. Let's move from concept to practice. Here are the tools available to practitioners today, globally accessible and proven in real workflows. First, Celebri Model Checker, an IFC-based platform that lets firms build custom rule sets reflecting their local building codes, then automatically validate BIM models against those rules before submission. Architecture offices across multiple countries are already running pre-submission compliance checks in-house with Celebri, dramatically reducing the risk of first-round rejections. Second, Autodesk Revit paired with Dynamo scripting. The open-source Dynamo ecosystem includes a growing library of community-built compliance automation scripts. Firms can adapt existing scripts or author their own, tailored to their jurisdiction's specific requirements. No proprietary government system required. Third, Cornet X, developed by Singapore's Building and Construction Authority. Upload your BIM model to the cloud, and the platform automatically runs full code compliance checks and returns a detailed permit readiness report. It is among the most advanced live government e-permitting systems in the world and a clear blueprint for what other jurisdictions are building toward. Fourth, emerging smart permitting initiatives worldwide. Cities including Helsinki, Amsterdam, and Los Angeles are actively piloting BIM-based e-permitting programs. This wave is accelerating. Early familiarity with these platforms and processes is becoming a decisive professional differentiator. At this point, a natural concern surfaces. If AI automates code review, does the architect become redundant? The answer, clearly, is no. The reality is closer to the opposite. What AI handles is the measurable and codifiable, dimensional compliance, area calculations, clearance distances, documentation assembly. These are tasks that consume enormous professional time, but demand relatively little professional judgment. The genuine complexity of building permitting lies at a different layer entirely. How do you navigate conflicts between overlapping regulations that point in opposite directions? How do you engage productively with review authorities when interpretations diverge? How do you find a creative solution that simultaneously satisfies the client's vision, the budget, the site constraints, and the code? These questions require professional judgment, communication fluency, and contextual knowledge that no algorithm currently replicates or is close to replicating. The data from early adopters supports this view consistently. Firms that have deployed AI-assisted code review tools report that architects handle significantly more projects per person. Productivity increases of approximately 40% are cited across the industry. Freed from repetitive compliance checking, professionals redirect their capacity toward higher-value design decisions, client relationships, and strategic problem-solving. Think of AI as the most meticulous junior staff member you have ever worked with, one who never misses a measurement, but still needs a senior architect to know what the building is actually for. The convergence of BIM and AI is dismantling one of the oldest and most persistent bottlenecks in the built environment, the building permit process. Singapore made the shift a decade ago. The United Kingdom is well into its transition. Cities and governments across Europe, North America, and the Asia-Pacific are following, not gradually, but with increasing urgency. The direction is clear, and the momentum is irreversible. For practitioners watching this unfold, 3 actions matter right now. First, audit your firm's BIM maturity, a workflow that cannot export clean, standards-compliant IFC files is not ready to serve as the foundation for automated permitting. Identifying and closing that gap is the most foundational investment your practice can make. Second, Run a hands-on test with one tool this week. Download a Celebri trial. Explore a Dynamo-compliant script. Review CoreNetX documentation. The gap between knowing about these tools and knowing how to use them is precisely where competitive advantage is built, and direct experience is the fastest path across that gap. Third, follow e-permitting developments in your jurisdiction. Whether your local authority is already piloting smart permitting or just beginning the conversation, early engagement positions your firm ahead of the transition, rather than scrambling to catch up. The question we leave you with: as AI takes over the measurable and codifiable dimensions of building code review, what becomes the true and lasting competitive advantage of the design professional?